Are you looking for the best tents for hot weather? In this video we will look at some of the 5 best tents for hot weather on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. The Coleman Skydome Darkroom Tent. It's easy to mistake this tent from Coleman for a normal 6-person tent. But Coleman has an ace up its sleeve. This tent has a special darkroom technology that reduces sunlight by almost 90% in the interior. Honestly, that figure may be debatable. Even so, this is the right pick if you want to sleep late on a summer morning. In many cases, such technology can increase the heat inside the tent. Thankfully, Coleman has engineered the tent to cool the interiors on summer days. Users mentioned that the interiors remained comfortable even under the midday sun. Also, the fly is on the smaller side, so you'll have sufficient vertical airflow to ensure the right amount of ventilation and minimize condensation. Once you remove the fly, you'll find plenty of mesh in the inner tent walls that keep the interiors breezy. This is a great tent for enjoying the views around the campsite. When it comes to defending against rainstorms, the tent does a good job. The bathtub-style floor and the taped seams keep the water out. Some reviewers remarked that the insides remained completely dry even when water accumulated on the ground. According to reports, the tent can stand against 30 to 35 miles per hour winds. But don't expect it to withstand strong storms. Number 2. The Clostnature Lightweight Backpacking Tent. If you're looking for a reliable budget tent for summer camping trips, this model from Clostnature checks all the right boxes. The rainfly is made from 210T ripstop polyester, and the inner tent is mostly polyester mesh. In addition, it has 2 ventilation ports on the fly. There are 2 D-shaped doors that add to the airy feel. The ventilation levels were good enough to keep users comfortable even on hot nights. With a sufficient gap between the fly and the inner tent, there were no reports of condensation either. Both the floor and the rainfly come with 5,000 mm of water resistance. As a result, even in heavy thunder showers, users remained completely dry. Furthermore, the 7001 series aluminium poles work great in windy conditions. A big thumbs up to Clostnature for using aluminium poles at this price point. In terms of space, the tent isn't the best out there. 2 adults will need to get cozy to spend a comfortable night. The good news is there's additional vestibule space for storing your gear. At 5.4 pounds, it's not an ultralight tent that you can comfortably carry in your backpack, but it can work well for short-distance backpacking trips. Users praised the customer service of Clostnature. Now that's something that we appreciate from a new brand. Without a doubt, this is a solid value for money tent for first-time buyers. Even seasoned campers will find this a great choice for short trips. Number 3. The Bushnell Shield Series Instant Cabin Tent. Bushnell has some top-quality tents in its product line, and the 9-person cabin tent is no different. It has some great features that make it a superb choice for families. Firstly, there's the heat shield technology. The underside of the rainfly has a special reflective coating to prevent heat absorption. This blocks the UV rays and keeps the tent interior cool on hot days. There are 2 windows that provide additional airflow. Besides, the rainfly offers 3/4 th of coverage. This aids in maintaining vertical airflow to prevent condensation. On top of that, you get great views. Overall, users were satisfied with the ventilation on hot days. The insides remained breezy enough to beat the heat even with the rainfly on. With 135 square feet of inner space and 78 inches of head height, this spacious tent is good enough for a group of 6. Number 4. The Hyke and Byke Zion 2-person backpacking tent. We haven't seen much of Hyke and Byke, a newer brand, but we always love checking out products from fresh brands. At first glance, this is an entry-level tent that looks plain. But look closer, you'll find plenty of attention to the details. The inner tent has no seamed mesh that can be set up within a few minutes. With more than 90% of mesh in the inner tent, The airflow is excellent too. The rainfly has great coverage but is also designed to permit good airflow. There are two large doors that help with better ventilation. Note the rainfly comes with extra vents that keep the ventilation levels high. Users pointed out that the ventilation levels were good enough to prevent heat buildup inside the tent. The polyester ripstop material on the outside offers good waterproofing. The rainfly and the floor material's waterproof rating is 5000 mm. Coolly, you can set up the rainfly first and then the main tent. Great for keeping your gear dry on a rainy day. The superb ventilation also prevented any condensation in humid conditions. Users noted condensation forming on the inner surface of the rainfly but never inside the tent. At 34.4 square feet, the inner area is good but not the best. The peak height is 42.5 inches. For a dome tent, that's acceptable. With a weight above 6 pounds, this isn't an ultralight tent. So primarily, this is a car camping tent for summer. Number 5. The Coleman Sundome Tent. As a brand, Coleman needs no introduction. The Sundome is one of their most popular models with an affordable price tag. One thing we love about this model is its excellent versatility. It's available in 2, 3, 4, and 6-person versions. That makes it perfect for small as well as big teams. What about the performance in hot conditions? The tent offers great ventilation to keep the interiors cool. The inner tent is made from 68D polyester mesh that ensures good airflow. Note the rainfly is 68D polyester taffeta material which isn't breathable, but with a floor vent and the liberal use of mesh, that isn't an issue. The other thing is that the rainfly's partial coverage provides better airflow across the tent structure. Users mentioned that the Sundome 4 and 6 offer an airy feel perfect for summertime camping. The weather resistance is impressive too. Coleman offers a special WeatherTech system for better performance in rough weather conditions. The tub-shaped design works well in mild to moderate rain. On the downside, the limited coverage of the rainfly isn't the best performer in heavy rains. Users mentioned some water leakage after prolonged heavy rains. Also, the fiberglass poles aren't the best for tackling heavy winds.